You're listening to DraftKings Network.
Today at T-Mobile, I'm joined by a special co-anchor.
What up, everybody? It's your boy, Big Snoop Double G.
Snoop, where can people go to find great deals?
Head to T-Mobile.com and get 4 iPhone 16s with Apple Intelligence on us, plus 4 lines for $25.
That's quite a deal, Snoop. And when you switch to T-Mobile, you can save versus the other big guys' comparable plans plus streaming.
Respect. We up out of here.
See how you can save on wireless and streaming versus the other big guys at T-Mobile.com/switch. Apple Intelligence requires iOS 18.1 or later.
Hey there, travelers and dreamers. We all have that dream trip that we've been wishing we could go on. But too often, life just gets in the way, whether it's work, family responsibilities, or, in my case, and I'm sure many of yours, price. But your dream trip doesn't have to stay a dream any longer, because Priceline is here to help you book it with millions of deals on hotels, flights, cruises, and rental cars. That bucket list destination? Yeah, it's a lot closer than you think. You know, I've been wanting to go see the Pittsburgh Pirates for a long time at PNC Park in Pittsburgh. That's like at the top of my list of bucket list destinations of baseball parks around the country. And because I now know about the type of deals that Priceline offers, I may pull the trigger this summer and go see those Pirates. Priceline makes it easy and stress-free to book a flight and a hotel so I can go see my team play live. With millions of travel deals like up to 60% off hotels, I know I'll be able to find great options even when I need to book last minute. So don't just dream about that next trip, book it with Priceline. Download the Priceline app or visit Priceline.com to go to your happy price. Actual prices may vary. Limited time offer. Terms apply.
Shadow Show.
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 Shadowing it.
Shadowing it.
Happy Greg Cody Tuesday. Well, we're not on video, so you giving me a thumbs up there isn't really helpful.
Oh, that's crazy. Live video. Who knows around here?
How is it that he doesn't know where he is still after all of these years doing this with us?
Shadow Show, in Greg's defense, is a relatively new concept, and I'm still not fully dialed into it.
Thank you, Mike. You're messing with me with how far you have that mic down, right? Like that's just to troll me?
Oh, for the love of God. Seriously? It's very low. Greg,
we can't hear
it's
you.
closer to your crotch than it is to your mouth, Greg. It is.
Okay, and then when it's too close, it's like, we hear you breathing.
Okay, but
quit breathing.
Greg, these are problems no other professional broadcaster has.
Just some notes. When you're not talking, lean back slightly so your breathing doesn't get caught. And when you're gonna talk, sit up normal so you're into the mic. It's kind of not that difficult. Okay.
Here's a helpful note. Stop picking on your dad. Everybody hates it.
Thank you. God, isn't that the truth? All right, go on with the show. The show must go on, as they say.
Why did you say before the show, mirror don't lie, and then you said, actually, the mirror does lie?
I believe that.
All the time. It's everything's opposite.
Yeah. Well, not only that, but the mirror is open to interpretation. Like when I see myself in a mirror, I see myself differently than when I see my photo on TV. Or something else.
Well, I the reason this conversation started is because I was asking Greg what he thought of Angel's caricature that flips up there on the slot machine, and he doesn't like it.
It's a little harsh.
It's all one color.
Right.
It's all gray. It's
right.
all
it's
of
a bit
it
pale.
Well, it's just all of it is ashy. All of him is just covered in it. If he were to emerge from a volcano that had just erupted and was running for his safety, he would look that kind of ashy in his hair and on his face.
Yes, let's just refer to it as an unflattering caricature.
But you said, originally, you said mirror don't lie, because what you said to me was, I guess I got to accept that I am now gray. Mirror don't lie. And then you stopped and said, actually, the mirror does lie.
Yeah.
And I don't think the mirror lies. Put it on the poll at Batard Show. Does your mirror lie?
I'm with my dad on this. You'll look at yourself in the mirror and you're like, all right, this is fine. This passes. And then you see yourself in a picture and you're like,
What was I thinking?
Yeah, but
what did my mirror tell me?
No, but the mirror, wait a minute, but the mirror is more accurate than the picture. You can take unflattering pictures. You can't take unflattering mirror.
No, you can't, because it's a scientific fact. You do appear better looking to yourself in the mirror because of the facial symmetry being reversed, the fact that you're subconsciously posing, you control the lighting.
Yep.
You when you look in the mirror, you're trying to look as best as you can.
I put my tongue in my mouth so my face gets as thin as possible. Like,
there's some mirrors that lie, though, because you look at some mirrors and you're like, ooh, I look good. And then you look at other mirrors and you're like, whoa, where did this guy come from? Not even the funhouse mirror, just a regular mirror. Sometimes the gym has some better mirrors. Is it the lighting? Is it the angles?
It's all those things. They know how to make people feel good about themselves. It's part of the business plan.
But then you see one at your house and you're like, damn.
Have the mirror at the gym. Be a good mirror with good lighting.
The mirrors at the gyms have filters on them now, like IG filters. So like when you go, you're like, ooh, okay.
I think you can work out with those mirrors. They do like a workout too.
I don't think you guys are accurate anyway. I believe the mirror is an accurate representation of what you look like. More accurate.
No, I asked ChatGPT about the
photographs.
No. I asked ChatGPT. That's like a human thing that happens in your brain when you look into a mirror.
It's a fact.
Put it on the poll. Is it a fact, Jack, that
it's like your thing?
That the mirror.
I'm not a slave to that. I don't have to say Jack every time I say fact.
It's your line. It's your line.
It's my line when I'm ready for it.
We want to get the people to pop. You get the people to pop when you recite your own line.
That's Doogie. That's what I called my grandfather.
He's
Pop.
right about that, yeah. He has said that on multiple occasions.
Thank you. I'm in reruns.
Except the ones you need to remember. Those you get wrong. How is it that you get your signature lines wrong?
Because I'm not a slave to them. You know, they're on,
we heard you say that first time.
You can, they're on my terms.
Please stop saying that phrase.
You want to put Udonis Haslam up in the rafters again today?
You're the one who was lifting him up into the rafters. I'm the one I just put ropes under his armpits.
All right, let's
for the
start.
visual
Let's start
of him
the show.
rising
Let's
into
start
the
the
rafters.
show.
Glad we're back
Let's
here.
start the show.
This is the Dan Batard Show with the Stugotz podcast.
I felt for Roy this morning, even though Roy is affiliated with the only good thing that we have in South Florida sports at the moment. I guess I should say Inter Miami is also excellent. But among the major sports that we cover here, the top four, Roy has the hockey team, and he was out at Panthers practice, and Brad Marchand spoke glowingly of both the Bruins and the Panthers yesterday. But right under his nose, he missed the Ekblad suspension of 20 games, and he didn't do any good reporting. He gave us atmosphere from an empty arena, but soon after he left the arena, we learned that Ekblad was suspended for 20 games. And your reaction, Roy, was what to both this news and being beaten on this news?
Well, first of all, it was about 6 hours after we left this news.
Well, you could have broken it early.
You could have hung around.
You were there.
I could have hung around for 6 extra hours.
I don't think anyone actually broke this story. It was announced by the league and the NHLPA.
I understand.
What's the cover-up then? Is
but
I think what Dan's asking.
Roy was there. It's not really the cover-up. It's more just missing the news, just being there to gather news and then missing the news.
Well, yes. Okay. I missed the news. Yeah. Thank you for pointing that out.
There were no
That's
rumblings?
great. No rumblings.
Did you see Aaron walking out with like a cardboard box full of his, personal effects?
I don't think he was fired, Billy.
Well, no, for 2 weeks, though, he can't be there.
That is correct. No, I did not see a cardboard box with any of his belongings in it. No.
You also missed on reporting the Mikko Rantanen trade to Dallas, so apologize.
Me? I gotta apologize.
You're missing scoops left and right.
We do that well here at Meadowlark Media. I will have you know that yesterday, Taylor, and I'm in agreement with that listener at Flanagan's who said Les Taylor on the show.
It was one guy.
Taylor reported yesterday, because he's our North Carolina expert, and no one has more Mac Hollins information nationally than Taylor does. He reported yesterday on X, Mac Hollins to the Patriots, and he had a typo in the tweet, and when he took it down to edit it, someone else reported it.
Oh, man.
Oh, my God.
That's the news game.
Beat to a sword
That's the news game. No, but that's how we do it around here. Some people might ask, how do you get beat when you're standing on the ice and Aaron Ekblad is packing up his stuff, but you got beat on that story.
How bad was the typo? I didn't see it. Like, what did he need to take it down? Did you get the context of the tweet with the typo? Like, he should have just left it up, right?
The thing is, he's the nation's foremost expert on Mac Hollins, so any time that Taylor tweets something out, it's got to be right because obviously he's the number one guy for Mac Hollins News. When you send out the tweet and it says DTH instead of THE, it's like, oh, I don't know.
Yeah, I do that all the time. I have to take down tweets and redo them. It's tough not to make an error. Mac Hollins, I think number 57 on the Greg COTE Show all-time list of all-time guests. So's Ekblad, number 85. All my guys are moving. You know, they're being traded. They're being busted for dope. I mean, all kind of things are happening.
Okay, well, what is? I saw Bobby Portis got 25 games. When you get these bigger suspensions, we're always assuming. And in Ekblad's case, I guess we now understand how his play improved, right? I mean, you guys hated him for a while, and then for the last 9 months or so, you guys have been fine with him.
Something happened.
Well, the funny thing is, the last person who got busted for PEDs and suspended for 20 games was Nate Schmidt when he was at Vegas. He's a Panther now.
I wish that Ekblad or any athlete suspended for PEDs would just instantly own up to it instead of implying, inadvertently, I took a medicine, I didn't know this. Ekblad, he's 29 years old. Okay, he hears the career clock ticking a little bit. No longer the best defenseman on his team. And he wanted to get a little bit of an edge. It's human nature. It's illegal, but it's human nature.
He kind of crept back into the discussion of being the best defenseman on his team.
More than Forsling?
He had a really good season, really great bounce back. When he was out for a brief period of time this season, the Panthers' form had dipped. He came back. They were off to the races. I mean, I hate to say this, but this is like one of those baseball suspensions where a guy has a crazy year and you're like, that makes sense. When I saw the Ekblad news, I'm like, man, that kind of makes sense. He's bounced all the way back this year.
I do wonder, when they made the deal a couple of weeks ago for Seth Jones, did they have an inkling that this might be coming?
Well, this is why Roy should have broken it 6 hours early, because I doubt that all of this news came down in those 6 hours after he left the ice. Mike, when you say off to the races, I know that the expression, what it means, but why are people off to the races? Like, what is it that makes people go off to the races? And Tony, I saw you checking your phone. Do you have any breaking news for us?
I've got an update on the Taylor situation. He said he had 2 typos. Posted, deleted, posted again, deleted again. Mike Garofalo posted, then I posted.
That's just on him.
He said,
you need to look in the mirror. Speaking of mirrors.
Problem was, I went for a 2-year deal to try to add the money involved, and that's how I got the mix-up in the typos.
19th century horse racing.
I was going to say, Diablo took off. That's where I know the thing comes. All of a sudden, it's like, we're off to the races. This guy's gone.
Can't you just edit a tweet in the first hour? Like, what's he doing there?
If you're subscribed to premium.
I can.
Let me ask you guys the question about Ekblad and just suspensions in general, because I want to play this sound from an unreliable messenger. It's old sound, but it didn't get any traction. None. And Chael Sonnen, because he's a professional troll, but he's also been someone who has broken news. Chael Sonnen said this of LeBron James, flatly.
If the world understood what LeBron did, like other basketball players will hear what LeBron does and go, well, yeah, but that doesn't matter, right? It's like a baseball player and you're hitting a stick out of the way. It doesn't matter. It's like, no. If you knew what these performance enhancers did, then you would know why it does matter.
What do you think he's
there's
doing?
Only one. We have the same drug guy, if you will. I know exactly what he's doing. But there's only one golfer.
Please tell.
There's only one golfer. I'm not going to. But there's only one golfer that follows the big 3. The big 3 is EPO, growth hormone, testosterone. That's the Lance Armstrong diet. There's one golfer, but it's Tiger Woods. Like, yes, it does matter. People will say it all the time, it doesn't matter. John Daly won it. It's like, it matters. Trust me that it matters. EPO matters. It's the reason LeBron takes it. It matters. And if other basketball has understood what it did, EPO increases your red blood cells, which gives you endurance so you can play all game long. You can shoot in the fourth quarter just like you shot in the fourth minute.
More red blood cells, more oxygen in your red blood cells. Okay, got you.
It's the king of performance enhancers.
So you would prefer that, especially in a fight sport, to anything else?
EPO is king.
Because it's going to give you the stamina.
Yes.
That's why cyclists do it.
That's why cyclists
Tour de France is.
So that fifth round energy is
the
more
human
important.
body is not made to do the Tour de France. I mean, the people that set that up are inhumane. So of course you have to go. Of course it's supernatural people that they're forcing them to take.
What sound is that? What is he doing?
Chael Sonnen, for those of you who do not know, produced for 5 rounds one of the most stunning things I've seen while on performance enhancers. Is he totally dominated the best pound-for-pound fighter in the world in Anderson Silva at the time, and then lost at the end because he slipped up, but had him dominated. My question to you is, when Chael Sonnen says something like that, if right now the news came down that the oldest player in the NBA, who's still doing things that are completely unprecedented for his age, if the news came down that he was using HGH, would anyone be surprised by that?
The small domino is Aaron Ekblad testing positive and getting a 20-game suspension. That leads to a Chael Sonnen clip that's old. And the big domino is, let's just use this to invoke LeBron's name. Well, I don't like this one bit.
I was going to do it yesterday with Mo Vaughn's HGH admission, but instead I decided to do it today.
Just let's peel back the curtain. We know what we're doing here.
I want to ask the question because I'm amazed at what's happened in sports when it comes to this stuff. We were all naive with Maguire and Sosa. Maguire and Sosa had it in their lockers, and it was a totally common thing, and we were naive at the time. And I'm asking legitimately, who would surprise you now, and what would be your reaction to specifically the one guy doing things that have never been done before? Because I would be not only unsurprised, I also wouldn't blame him. And furthermore, if I were him, I would dare the league to punish me. I would dare the league to find out and try to do that to me so that they eradicate my records.
It feels like, if we want to get conspiratorial, the league has been turning a blind eye to people at that level taking things for a very long time. Like, what, we're just surprised that LeBron is at 40 years old, now creeping back into the MVP race at 40 because he's had an incredible season all of a sudden?
Yeah, but what does that mean, though? I mean, retroactively, are we now suspicious about Tom Brady's longevity and success?
Kind of.
I don't throw any shade on LeBron James based on something an ex-UFC fighter says. I think he's built up too much credibility to assume that just because he's still great at 40,
okay, but I'm asking a career newspaper man to just for a moment take a look at results that have no precedent and have some questions about it, as opposed to simply accepting at face value something in sports that can no longer be accepted at face value.
So he's the only one doing it, though?
I'm not saying that.
But that means if a lot of people are also doing it, he's still the best.
That in turn levels the playing field. If the greatest ever at their sport, Tom Brady, arguably LeBron James, are doing these things and getting away with it, you got to assume everybody is. The same thing like the 90s in baseball, and that doesn't mitigate his greatness. It may explain some things that are hard to explain, which is, why are we seeing this guy do it at 40? It was a question that we asked about Tom Brady, and we just assumed everybody else would, and it turns out, no one else could. Tom Brady was the greatest ever.
Peyton Manning was also, there's a lot of cloudiness, a lot of things around the Al Jazeera report of Peyton Manning getting stuff for his neck. Maybe he was taking things before that.
His wife.
Sorry.
You got to get that right.
Sorry, I don't know. Allegedly.
Typo.
To answer your question, would I be surprised if all of a sudden it came out that LeBron James has used HGH? No. Just as I was not surprised late afternoon yesterday when my wife said, hey, did you hear about Aaron Ekblad? It isn't a shock when any professional athlete, to me, tries to get better or tries to get healthier sooner by using medicinal means. It's against the rules. Maybe it shouldn't be against the rules. I don't know, but it doesn't surprise me. The only thing that I don't like is to assume that Chael Sonnen is right and to assume that LeBron James is not quite the angel that we've known for 2 decades.
I want to stop you for a second, though, because I do think it's possible for something to be completely unsurprising and still shocking. If that news came down right now, you're not going to tell me that you'd be like, Like you'd have a reaction to it, and it wouldn't be like you would feel lied to in some way. I don't know how emotional you would be or how much we've changed this over the last 20 years, but you would not be indifferent about that news. We would be engulfed by that news if that were so.
I'll entertain your gambit. I think for me the shock would be, man, they actually did it. They caught him, and they decided to put out a press release and announce this to the face of the game. Like I would be shocked at that. I'd be more shocked at that than learning that a top athlete is doing whatever he can to stay at the top.
You know what's funny about you saying that is that I would indeed be shocked if the league actually did that, but I would also be shocked if the league consciously and actively covered it up. If you showed me some sort of chain that revealed to me how it is that got covered up by a league protecting its interests and declining to protect its integrity, if you showed me all of that and showed me knowledge of it, I would find that to be shocking as well. Like, I understand that we're sitting here saying these things in the hypothetical, but now put it on Adam Silver's desk and have him make the decision that overtly protects something that is against the rules. That seems kind of crazy, even if we're now used to corruption in all facets of the space where we're watching
there's a
things.
Paper trail on this
Dan.
getting to Adam Silver's desk, and the person that takes it in is still alive.
It is, let me just say, it is extra reckless to be. I know Chael says he shares the doctor, but he's half the time he's in character. Like he's not. It's not the best source.
Okay, but I remember the first time that I noticed Feel Good being swept up by conspiracy theories and cynicism. It's when Cal Ripken Jr. hit a home run in the All-Star game, and it was such a perfect moment that immediately, was it Hideo Nomo? Somebody assumed that the pitch had, many people assumed that the pitch had...
Chan Ho Park. Grooved it.
Ooh.
Uh-oh.
Ooh, Dan.
Uh-oh.
Ooh.
That is amazing.
Let me tell you something.
It got grooved, Dan. More importantly, the pitch got grooved.
Uh-oh.
I think that
You
should
did this
be
to
more
yourself.
than a $5 fine.
You did this to
I think
yourself.
that should be a
I
bigger
tried to
fine
stop
than
you.
that.
Tried to stop you with Chael.
Not great. Not great, no.
I
hope Chris is right, by the way.
Yeah.
It's
fact check that one, man.
No, it's even worse than that. It is even worse than that. You said Chan Ho Park, and I had in my head that Chan Ho Park, for some reason, was a first baseman. That was Hee-Sop Choi. So it's even worse. It's even worse.
They were both Dodgers.
Thank you. Yes, not a good defense, and I will.
Actually, all three of them were.
He's up a little chubby too.
Again, though, I will say to you guys that was the first time that I'm like, can we not have good things that we believe in sports, that we're going to immediately arrive 25 years ago or more than that in a place where we're going to take Cal Ripken Jr.'s, as if it's not hard to hit a home run in an all-star game, and we're going to immediately apply cynicism to it.
So you didn't like how that made you feel, and then 20 years later, we're lifting up Chael Sonnen. Like, it's cool watching this phase of LeBron's career, and those questions and whispers, social media conjecture and innuendo, that's been around LeBron forever. For literally like at least 15 years of his career, people have been wondering, what's that little break that he's taking in the middle of the season? This is stuff that people say all the time.
Again, though, I simply say to you, as we're watching all of these things that have no human precedent on where the limits of the human body have been. This is not a player. Go look at Michael Jordan's number and his percentages, his numbers when he was 37 years old.
No doubt. And I get it. And I feel like we have this conversation every time an aging quarterback hits the market. We're watching two guys do it, and they just so happen to be the best ever. Like, that's why they're doing it, maybe. I understand, like, we're trying to rationalize what we're seeing. With Brady, it flatly doesn't make sense because look at his body. Like, with LeBron, we're doing like, wow, he's chiseled out of granite. I get it. With Brady, pliability and avocado tequila?
Strawberries. The thing that I'm doing, though, with you guys, I understand, okay? that the playground is this utopian space for us where we do dreamy childhood things. But everywhere else in America, facts are being questioned everywhere. Things that have conspiracy theories are growing power everywhere. But not here? But not here.
No, yes, here.
No, not here, because this isn't a conversation that's actually happening anywhere. I want to preface all of this, even though I'm already deep in the weeds on it. I want to preface all of it by saying that I lost my Baseball Hall of Fame vote because I am not judgmental about these people using science and advantages to try and beat all the other people who are using science and the advantages that all of us would love to have a fountain of youth. And I get everything. I'm not judging it. I'm wondering that the reaction seems to be around this to just simply accept, yes, something I've never seen before. I believe that to be pure, and we're not doing that with anything else, any other subject matter in America.
But is it fair to, maybe not reserve that for the GOATs? Messi's playing great in older age, too, and he actually had to be on human growth hormone when he was younger because of how he was born. I think we're conflating all-time greatness. When I list those three names, they might be on the Mount Rushmore of all-time greats in athleticism for a conversation that might be reserved for journeymen trying to hang on, because those are the guys that get pinched most of the time for this kind of stuff.
But isn't the thing to do it as the number one guy, knowing that you're the face of the league, knowing that Adam Silver would have to crater the entire league to make sure that you don't get put on one of these lists? Dan, LeBron James is more protected than the President of the United States. I want you to know that, okay?
I don't think
that can't be true.
I think so.
I don't think that's accurate. I think so.
He's more protected. He's more protected from PR, from all these different angles than the President of the United States.
Although the last president was accused of PEDs.
He had to.
The idea,
come on, man.
The idea that anybody would be using human growth hormone to feel better is something that I would understand and say, yes, if your body is in pain, go ahead and do whatever it is that you have to do. The only arguments I've ever heard against human growth hormone are if you have some sort of undetected tumor in your body, it will speed up its growth if you do human growth hormone. In fact, I will tell you, because South Florida has been something of a pioneer in this regard, where A-Rod and Manny Ramirez and a whole bunch of lawlessness took place in a way that was sloppy. I will tell you that about 10 years ago, a urologist suggested, I remember I went with my brother and I was ready to do something that actually was inserted in your body that released human growth hormone monthly when it was supposed to. And the last thing the doctor told me as I was leaving is what I said, which is if you have an undetected tumor, because I'm like, well, what are the side effects? Like, how is this something that you're telling me I could just come in here and feel much better? I'm going to hurt less. I'm going to have more energy. I'm going to be happier about life. And it's got no side effects. That side effect is not generally a concern for young people. That's not an absolute, but that's not something that if you're in your athletic prime necessarily undetected tumors. But I was in my 40s when it is that I was looking into doing this, and I did a lot of research on it, and I totally understand why any athlete would protect the $50 million a year late in their career that wouldn't be available to them because these careers used to always end at 37 years old. Like there's no such thing as what Taurasi did, what Ovechkin is doing, what Tom Brady did. And yes, you're talking about all-time greats keeping their level from falling more precipitously, which is generally how it drops at 37. I'm simply more interested in why it is that we choose this particular naivete when you're presented with something that by 3 years has no precedent. Because even Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, what he was doing late in his 30s was all just skyhooks, and you can see all of the ways that he's aged numerically. You can't see it in LeBron's numbers. It's not anywhere to be found except on his defense.
You know, you mention Ovechkin, and it does get the brain to wander a little bit because he did drop off for a little bit. But also, this is the first offseason I can ever remember where he was like photographed working out and running and playing pickleball to kind of stay in shape. And he doesn't have this great body, and he's aged like he's partied. Howdy, everybody. It's Mike Ryan. Have you heard of Gold Belly? I hope you have, because that means you listen to our show and you know how much I love this amazing site that I order from all the time, where you can get some of the most iconic, famous foods from restaurants all across the U.S., and they will ship it to your front door for free anywhere in the country. I'm telling you, I've received iconic foods from all across the country. Wings, barbecue. It doesn't matter. Gold Belly has me covered. Gold Belly will ship you iconic deep dish pizza from Chicago, from Lou Malnati's, or New York's best, most famous cheesecake from Junior's. If you're craving barbecue, they ship the legendary Franklin's Barbecue straight from Texas to your door. And you have to try the one and only world-renowned stone crab delivered from Joe's right here in Miami. Whether it's a dish from that one-of-a-kind restaurant or meals from world-famous chefs, Gold Belly has you covered. So, if you're looking for that perfect gift, or want to impress your friends and family with an epic meal the next time you host, go to goldbelly.com and get free shipping and 20% off your first order with promo code DAN. That's goldbelly.com, code DAN for free shipping and 20% off your first order.
Hey there, travelers and dreamers. We all have that dream trip that we've been wishing we could go on. But too often, life just gets in the way, whether it's work, family responsibilities, or, in my case, and I'm sure many of yours, price. But your dream trip doesn't have to stay a dream any longer, because Priceline is here to help you book it with millions of deals on hotels, flights, cruises, and rental cars. That bucket list destination? Yeah, it's a lot closer than you think. You know, I've been wanting to go see the Pittsburgh Pirates for a long time at PNC Park in Pittsburgh. That's like at the top of my list of bucket list destinations of baseball parks around the country. And because I now know about the type of deals that Priceline offers, I may pull the trigger this summer and go see those Pirates. Priceline makes it easy and stress-free to book a flight and a hotel so I can go see my team play live. With millions of travel deals like up to 60% off hotels, I know I'll be able to find great options even when I need to book last minute. So don't just dream about that next trip, book it with Priceline. Download the Priceline app or visit Priceline.com to go to your happy price. Actual prices may vary. Limited time offer. Terms apply. What does the future hold for business? It's a question I've been asking myself, and I know if you ask 9 experts, you're going to get 10 different answers. Bull market, bear market, inflation up, inflation down. Could someone please just invent a crystal ball? Until that day comes, over 41,000 businesses have already future-proofed themselves with NetSuite by Oracle, the #1 cloud ERP. NetSuite seamlessly integrates accounting, financial management, inventory, and HR into one powerful platform. With one unified business management suite, you get one source of truth, empowering you to make quick, informed decisions. And thanks to real-time insights and forecasting, you're not just guessing, you're acting on actionable data. Close your books in days, not weeks, and spend more time looking ahead. Whether your company earns millions or even hundreds of millions, NetSuite helps you meet today's challenges and seize tomorrow's opportunities. Speaking of opportunity, download the CFO's Guide to AI and Machine Learning at netsuite.com/DLB. The guide is free to you at netsuite.com/DLB. netsuite.com/DLB.
Don Le Batard.
For 5 minutes, I was watching everyone just like, nope, not letting you in, not letting you in. So when I got up there, I had to say something, and I said it. Cheaters never prosper.
Stugotz.
My buddy was saying, not today.
Yeah, but you're
not today.
Okay, so
I think that was what he was adding.
Yeah, that would have been
so
better.
much
That's
better.
better.
I'm telling you, the response I got from this guy, what I said was amazing.
He got him.
Cheaters never prosper. This guy yelled as angry as he could. I ain't cheating.
This is the Don Le Batard Show with the Stugotz.
You mentioned off-season and practice and working out. Let's check in with Tua and how it is that he is looking these days, because the internet has no issues on the fat shaming, and now we're doing to Tua what it is we did to Patrick Mahomes last offseason, where a little dad belly all of a sudden.
Una pancita, eso no.
Okay.
I'm sure he's super excited that his friend put this out.
This is the big domino.
He looks great.
Fat shaming Tua. I was now the big domino.
I was not doing it.
You're just asking us if we'd like to.
The internet is definitely doing it, and I don't agree with it.
The internet is doing it. I'm not here. I am not here for fat shaming others. I have been something of a pioneer in terms of allowing fat shaming of me.
Your picture is Mark Mangino, I think, still, right?
That's true.
So
I see a guy that's enjoying his offseason.
I see
nothing wrong with this.
Number one, no glass on the boat. Yeah. Party foul, pour that into a glass, and also it'll help you with bloating. Have you never seen Bar Rescue?
Can you guys get for me, please, the sound of Brad Marchand talking yesterday, both about the Panthers and the Bruins? I'd like to get to it in a second, but before I do that, I want to make a shameful admission here that was very different than the rest of you on what was your visceral reaction to the headline yesterday. When I saw the headline, Dolphins sign Wilson at quarterback, legitimately, I'm like, who the hell's Wilson? I had totally forgotten about the entirety of Zach Wilson. Like, I'd forgotten where he was, what he was doing, that he was bad with the Jets, that he was still available, that anybody would want him. Like, when I saw Wilson in the headline, it took me 5 seconds to be like, who the hell's Wilson?
You didn't think it was Russell, maybe?
I did.
Limited.
I hoped it was Russell. Now, that would have been a good signing.
No.
Yes.
I'll take Zach Wilson over Russell Wilson.
Oh, Zach.
What a bad take. What are you doing?
More upside. We know what Russell Wilson is. Zach Wilson is just like a guy.
Super Bowl winner?
Hold on a second. What? I mean, I think somehow the Jets still, though, when they're paying Fields $20 million a year, still lost yesterday, right? Like, that's crazy.
I mean, Zach Wilson is getting 6 times what Russell Wilson got last year. So you guys can laugh at me all you want.
He's not really, though. Like, he got paid by the Steelers $1 million, but he's getting paid by like 30 by like the Broncos.
That's true, but dude, what is Russell Wilson doing this offseason? Where's he ending up? I just think there's unknown with Zach Wilson. We kind of know what Russell Wilson is at this point.
Well, the Dolphins needed a proven veteran backup quarterback behind Tua. Zach Wilson ain't that guy. He's a draft bust.
That's true. He's not proven. I'm not arguing he's proven.
He's played 3 seasons and he's got more interceptions.
It's a top 5.
Than touchdowns.
It's a top 5 quarterback skill set. Those measurables are still the same.
Greg, if I can, by the way, we thought the same thing about Sam Darnold, and now he just signed a $100 million contract. Right? It's where you get plugged in, who you get plugged in with. All of a sudden, Zach Wilson starts looking really good in a system with Mike McDaniel.
No.
And then 2 years from now, somebody signs him to a $65-70 million deal.
Zach Wilson's a top 5 quarterback in the XFL. Maybe.
Dude, I love that you just act like you know that he couldn't be good in another system.
No,
it's not that I know. It's that the Jets knew and that the Broncos knew. And now the Dolphins will find out.
Yeah, I mean, if you're trying to flatter a dubious free agent signing, that's the thing to say. Well, what about other quarterbacks who we wrote off 3 years into their career and they bloomed and they turned out great? Yeah, if you want to believe that, go ahead.
Well, the Dolphins believe it.
Of course they do. Oh, they also got him cheap.
They're paying him like they believe it. It's $6 million. Couldn't be $10 million. They're paying like they believe that they can make him that.
They're paying like they realize they need a backup plan in case Tua gets concussed again, which is what Zach Wilson is. And he's a better option than Skylar Thompson, right? He's a worse option than Russell Wilson. If the two of them, like if I had Russell Wilson and Zach Wilson, I would take Russell Wilson.
And they also signed Zach Wilson to a 1-year contract, which isn't believing that this is a guy who might actually be your quarterback if Tua peters out with his health.
It's them signing a backup. And Chris, to your point, like we know what Russell Wilson is. Yeah, I know that Russell Wilson is better than Zach Wilson.
Yeah. Right.
I think there's more upside with Zach. Look, I want Tua to stay healthy. I don't want Zach Wilson to play. I'm just looking at the landscape of all these backup quarterbacks, and it's better than Skylar Thompson.
But I mean,
he's got the top 5 talent. I think you can say all you want about he can't be anything. I guarantee you, Mike McDaniel sees Zach Wilson as like in my system. This guy, I can work with this.
I just generally dismiss because he's got high upside is something that people say about bust first round picks all the time. It's something that people maintain till Brock Osweiler left the league. Occasionally, you'll catch the Sam Darnold and you'll catch the Baker Mayfield and maybe it'll work out, but most of the time it's a sad story and it's Brock Osweiler.
I'm also kind of souring on Mike McDaniel. Like, Mike McDaniel thinks he can fix him. Mike McDaniel's such a genius. How about you fix the problems that you have with the people you have and stop getting these pet projects just in case? Like, Mike McDaniel, if we're being honest, is kind of on the hot seat.
All right, let's talk for a second about both Sam Darnold and getting tired of coaches and what it is that they have to say, because how tiring are these Spoelstra press conferences now when you see them lose to Charlotte and Chicago at home, and he's saying all the things about grinding and face your demons, and we're going to get out of this. When the numbers, 8 of their last 9 losses, they've blown a fourth quarter lead. They've got 15 blown double-digit leads this season. Only Utah has more. They have real problems late in games because their offense is terrible late in games. And I mentioned to you guys how bad Utah is late in games. That game I saw where they had the ball with 20 in a tie game with 26 seconds left. They're bringing it up court, and they get a half-court violation because they don't get it up in time because they're just terrible. The idea that they're with Utah in blown leads, and is Portland now better than they are? Does Portland now have a better record than the Miami Heat, because the Miami Heat are supposed to be going through the soft part of their home schedule and are losing games, and the Spoelstra talk, like, this roster is bad compared to what we're used to. It's not lose to Chicago and Charlotte at home bad. It's not that bad.
Heat are 1 game up on the win column from the Portland Trailblazers.
Have they reached the point where you don't want to lead? You just like don't want to build a lead.
Come back, you just will always want to come back.
No double-digit leads. That's the rule.
It's a tough time for Spo to have his worst coaching season ever, because it times out with maybe Pat Riley's worst season as an executive ever. So vibes are bad.
I'll tell you where it started. The game against the Pistons, Dan. You said that he would wake up 10 years from now in a cold sweat thinking about that timeout call, and all of a sudden, that's the little domino. And what's the big domino going to be?
I think the little domino was telling Jimmy Butler to shut up.
40 years from now, not 10 years from now, 40 years from now, the Golden State Warriors are 12-1 now with Jimmy Butler. They have lost one basketball
Steph's been playing
game.
really good, though. Let's be honest.
For the record, Jimmy Butler wanted to go to Phoenix.
Yeah. And they suck.
That was the only team he wanted to go to.
Let's play some of this Brad Marchand sound to get a bit of a palate cleanser. Let's get some sorbet in with this meal.
This is sorbet?
This is just 2 minutes of him talking about how good the Panthers are.
It's extremely exciting to be part of such an incredible group. And when I walked into the room the other day, I literally had flashbacks to back in the year that we won and some of the groups that we've had over the year that I looked at as an incredible chemistry and incredible culture. And when you walk in here and you see the way the guys interact and the relationships that they have, not just within the room as players, but with their staff and their coaches and management, it shows why they've been the pillar in the league the last few years. So. I'm extremely excited to be part of the group and really looking forward to getting back on the ice and becoming part of the group here. They've bounced us the last couple of years in playoffs, so they've bounced the Bruins the last couple of years. And it has been pretty remarkable to see the growth they've had as a group the last few years. I think throughout the year here this year, we've played the team multiple times, and I remember just thinking like that's the team to beat this year. I thought the way that they came at you in waves all game long, just the depth that they had in their group, they have the experience, they know what it takes when they get in those tough situations, and that's invaluable. They didn't lose many guys, and the guys that they did replace them with are great players. I looked at the group and I was like, that's the team that has the ability to go all the way again. And when you match the drive with the experience and the depth of the group, it's a very dangerous combination. When things were kind of coming up and. Kind of writing was on the wall. This is absolutely the place I wanted to go.
Oh, I love that.
Guys, so update me really quick. Obviously, I was locked in on the Panthers this past run. Yeah. But so this guy is a guy from the Bruins, correct? That everybody hated. Mike called him a rat bastard, I think.
I didn't call him a rat bastard, but I would.
You would? Okay, you would. So now he's a Florida Panther, and now he's talking about how much he loves the Florida Panthers, even though back like 2 weeks ago he hated the Panthers and everybody on the USA team because of the Canadian USA thing.
The part that you're not understanding is that when rat bastard becomes cat bastard, all of a sudden Roy and Chris and Mike are doing what Chris was doing, which is, Greg, how embarrassed are you that your son spent that entire time rubbing his nipples with his hands until they chafe?
Yeah, I noticed that. Journalist Chris COTE, he's a fan. He's a season ticket holder. I mean, I expect that from Christopher. But as someone who's not a season ticket holder and doesn't cheerlead for the team, I love the signing. I mean, they got him for next to nothing, potentially a second-round pick. And, for the stretch run, to have him as your second line or whatever, I think it's a wonderful deal. Bill Zito continues to amaze with some of the things he's doing. He had a great team, wasn't satisfied, made it even better. Paul Maurice is one of the all-time great coaches. I mean, they're just state-of-the-art right now in the NHL and have been for the past 3 seasons.
Tony, what you're missing is also this is what we call a sleight of hand. You know what I mean? Like, look over here. We got this guy, big breaking news. Is this going to work out? He hates the Panthers. They hate him. Now he's a Panther. He's an Ice Cat.
Now he loves them.
Let's make sure to fly him down here so we can do this press conference. And then later in the day, you're going to find out that one of our players is taking steroids and has been suspended 20 games. But don't look at that. Look over here.
Classic
Look at
shell
the big
game.
signing. And now we're going to fly him right back to Boston for the next game where he was a minute ago. That's what they're doing here. Sleight of hand. Turns out, Chris, cheaters do prosper. Lord Stanley.
He is cheating.
Ekblad played very well. I won't remind anyone that the 2003 Marlins won a World Series with a ball that Pudge was able to hold on to at the plate because he was 40 pounds heavier than he was the next offseason.
Thank you for not
Miami
doing
cooking,
that.
yeah.
Exactly right. Glad you didn't do that.
Yeah.
I'm not there with this guy. I don't like it one bit. We invited toxic vibes, and look, immediately the universe says Ekblad suspended 20 games. This is what you invited in when you bring Brad Marchand in a locker room. That was fine without him. Also, why do we have to do him this favor? Why?
Because he's injured.
Let him toil away in Boston. Let him be someone else's problem. Yeah. He's trying to come over here and hitch his wagon to an absolute force in the sport that is, by all indications, handicapped to be the favorite in their conference. I don't like this for Brad Marchand. I don't want him to experience happiness.
Would you like to see him cry? I'm
telling you, I want to see the Florida Panthers win. If Brad Marchand lifts a cup and does that, fine. I won't clap or anything like that. But I'm unhappy that he gets to have that joy.
Okay, but would you like to see him cry? Would you like to actually watch a former Boston Bruin
I've seen him cry plenty.
But
Mike, that guy's a loser.
You didn't get joy. Mike, that clip right there where I was rubbing my nipples is him just for 2 minutes being like, I have looked at this team in awe for
of course
two.
You have.
But that's
kicked your ass 2 years running.
What else is he
we
gonna
win,
say?
but we win there. That's our victory.
I get it. It's the only silver lining is ripping him away from Boston, putting him specifically on this team. I've seen so many reaction videos of Bruins fans.
Now I can chirp Sarah Sivian.
They're torn up about it, and I guess that's a silver lining. But for me, I'm good, healthy scratch.
What happens if he plays tonight, right? It's tonight?
He's not playing. He's injured.
Yeah, he's out.
Okay, well, never mind then.
Why are we acting all surprised that a player traded to a team would speak glowingly of that new team? This is what traded players do. I mean,
But he doesn't have to, give, he wanted to be only here. And he had a good relationship with the Bruins, so they made it happen for him.
Right. Well, if you're going to be traded, you want to go to the defending Stanley Cup champion that might win again. No duh. I mean, no brainer on that one. Brad Marchand, he made a good career decision.
Do you guys realize that it is fundamentally impossible to surprise the old savvy veteran here with anything we discuss or any thought that you have? He is completely unsurprised by all things that happen.
Hold on a second. Well, everyone's jumping down my throat about him being injured. When Roy was at the Panthers camp yesterday not reporting on the steroid suspension, he reported that Brad Marchand was going to be on this road trip traveling and he might be good and suit up for the game.
No, I said he might take some ice recovery.
Morning skate type stuff.
Yeah. He's injured. I said he was injured yesterday.
Get out there, tough guy. Jeez.
Again, though, Mike Ryan, would you like to see Brad Marchand cry? Just say yes.
Of happiness or sadness?
So I could just play the video. Just say yes so I could play the video.
I'd never called him a rat bastard.
Yes,
Stop putting those words in my mouth. However, if I did say that, I stand by it.
Let's hear Brad Marchand get emotional.
I've had an incredible run in that organization, and I'm extremely proud. How things went there. Sorry. So yeah, it was very disappointing that things didn't get done, just because obviously I love the organization. I wanted to stay there, but at the end of the day, I also know that business is business, and every player has a shelf life.
Crocodile tears.
I think I actually enjoyed that.
All right, I know I got to do this ad read, but hold on. Let me reapply. Did you hear that? Yep, that's my new favorite lip gloss from NYX Cosmetics. Now I'm ready to talk to you. I've been a huge fan of NYX Cosmetics for many years now. In fact, I use their Thick It, Stick It brow gel every single day. So you can imagine my excitement when we recently received a special delivery to the Batard studios from our friends over at NYX Cosmetics. And there it was. When I opened the box, glowing, I heard the angels sing, "Ah." It's their latest lip gloss fat oil lip drip. It's NYX Cosmetics' first lip oil of its kind. This creamy lip oil will have your lips dripping with fat perks. You get all the shine of a lip gloss and none of the stickiness while experiencing 12-hour hydration. I'm usually a matte lip gloss kind of gal. My normal go-to is NYX Cosmetics lip gloss, the Lingerie XXL. But after applying the status update shade, I have found my new go-to lip gloss. Fat Oil Lip Drip has high shine finish with comfortable wear and none of the sticky texture. A lip product that's hydrating, non-sticky, and only $9? Now that's a win. Try Fat Oil Lip Drip from NYX Professional Makeup. Available in 14 universally flattering shades. Find your perfect Fat Oil Lip Drip. Shop now at NYXCosmetics.com or a retailer near you.
Howdy, folks. It's Mike Ryan. I talk to you about Miller Time all the time, but we're in the wintertime right now, and one of my favorite pastimes is to crack open a Miller Lite and enjoy myself some Miller Time during the wintertime, because when there's a brisk chill in the air, it just makes everything right. My friends and I who live down here in South Florida can actually sit outside because it's not super muggy. We can thoroughly enjoy our Miller Time together. And for you listening, I know there's a lot of things going on right now. Sports, chief among them. Nothing more important than sports. From basketball and hockey to game night, winter means more moments with the coolest people in your life. Make these moments even better with Miller Lite, the great-tasting light beer for people who love beer. Now's the perfect time for friends, family, and a great-tasting light beer. Taste like Miller Time! And you know Miller Lite is brewed for taste. It hits different than other light beers, and at just 96 calories and 3.2 grams of carbs per 12 ounces, Miller Time is always a good time. Miller Lite, great taste, 96 calories. Go to MillerLite.com/Dan to find delivery options near you, or you can pick up some Miller Lite pretty much anywhere they sell beer. Tastes like Miller Time. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces.